is me being excited again. David, I'm taking notes again. I haven't taken notes on a show in 3 years.
Since The Walking Dead ended.
Pausing and staring at the screen and Googling things right away.
Do a little magnifying glass?
Yeah. If I need to rewind something, my TV will only go back every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So I have to pause and then go back 10 seconds. I can't just be like tick, 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 tick. It's so infuriating because if I miss something by a fraction of a second, I have to go 10 whole seconds back.
We are Squawking Dead, a podcast pulverizing programs beyond the Walking Dead universe. Sometimes we give you news, sometimes we make you laugh, most times we go deep. I'm your host, David Cameo, and I'm joined by
Cosmo Mom 09.
They're dropping like flies. We're missing the Rob, we're missing the Sharondy, we're missing the Bridget. Bridget was with us.
Rob's off doing something fun.
Yeah, Rob's off in...
Bridget's off doing something not so fun.
Bridget wasn't feeling too well. So she's like, I only watch it like a half of the episode, and then the other half I fell asleep. No, I don't know. She said she basically watched it once and didn't take notes.
Yeah,
and basically forgot it anyway. So here we are. What? We're not good enough for you?
Here we are.
Well, you don't want Bridget's comedic timing and Rob's astute observations? Oh, then just leave.
This is old school. We're going in the way back machine.
Yeah.
When it was just us.
Let's do a 3-hour episode.
No. Let's not
do
a
that.
3-hour episode. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, and we used to do them live too. Go figure.
I do like the lives.
Yeah.
People get to see our rawness, our just true raw chaos.
Yeah. It's like I didn't even know how chaotic it was until Francisco pointed it out to us. And it's not like we didn't have an audience, by the way. It's like we did.
I knew how chaotic we were.
Yeah, but everybody thought it was normal. Until Francisco came around, it's like, this is pure chaos. Why don't you go live more? Like, well, we did, and nobody came.
Maybe we didn't do it enough because people love watching a good train wreck.
True. It's opportunity, right? It's like the times that we do end up recording are so random and weird, and who's going to be on.
Yeah. If we could do it consistently, this day at this time, we're going to be going live. That would be great, but none of us have a schedule that consistent.
Well, and even these come out at different times. The first one was on Sunday. This one came out on Halloween Day, this episode.
Yeah.
So just so everybody knows, in case you're like, hey, wait, it's Sunday. It's been on for the last 3 days. Yeah. You don't pick up a newspaper anymore? It was in the papers.
Newspapers don't even exist in some areas.
And here we are, we're looking at this episode, and it's like the newspaper that shows up, the Derry...
The one that Leroy's holding?
Yeah, it was called the Derry...
The Derry Tribune or something?
The Derry
Only
Press.
The headline.
It says on the top, the Derry's oldest daily news paper. It's like, can you imagine that? I know that they still exist, like the New York Times and stuff like that, but they had advertised this episode that would be coming out on Friday.
Halloween, yeah.
October 31st, in case you don't know what Halloween. Hey, you never know. Immigrant families, they don't know. They love a good scare. And as you're watching the second episode, it advised you that the third episode would be coming out on November the 9th. So back on Sunday. So you get a bit of a hang time between this episode and the next one. And kind of good reason too, because the end of this episode is pretty big. The ending of every episode so far is a pretty big...
Yeah, they're leaving us with really, really juicy cliffhangers.
It's like a season cliffhanger every episode.
I know. I love it.
The very thing you were afraid of going back to, Lily Bainbridge, was going back to the Juniper Hill Asylum. And then you end up in Juniper Hill Asylum anyway, with as much as you were trying to avoid it. And Hank went to prison, I guess, or got hauled away at the very least.
Yeah.
Nobody wins. The Losers Club keeps losing, basically. Well, let's talk about what we are watching. We're watching the second episode of It, Welcome to Derry, The Thing in the Dark. In your opinion, what is The Thing in the Dark? How does that relate to this episode?
Oh, this is a very fitting episode title.
Not more than the first one, though.
The title of the first episode could not have been more perfect, but this one is very fitting. This one in particular kind of describes what we've been talking about when we covered the first episode. The thing in the dark is the thing that nobody in Derry wants to talk about. All the things that are hiding beneath the surface. Everybody puts on these happy faces and smiling happy families, but really underneath it, there's something dark lurking. And Pennywise. That's the obvious thing in the dark.
I was going to say, I was like, so funny how you started with the thing that is more nebulous than it is obvious. Yeah.
The obvious thing is Pennywise.
Yeah.
He's the thing in the dark.
Yeah, his glowing eyes in Ronnie's mother's
mom's womb.
In the imaginary / manifest weird.
Yeah.
It's actually happening, but really you shouldn't be. But here we are. You did get to see those glowing eyes a couple times in the title sequence, which was pretty crazy, by the way, different than the first episode, which is wholly unexpected and entirely welcome for me. It was just like, what is this? And why do I love it so much?
Oh, I do. And I wrote down every little bit about it.
Well, let's save ourselves some time. So I've mentioned my pal Matt on the show a couple times in terms of like, oh, Matt is watching along with us. Here's his take. It hasn't happened in 5 years, I think. But he is watching this show. He sent me an article by The Hollywood Reporter about the title sequence. And I had already written down those facts like you did about like what we're seeing.
Yep.
But this gives you more about who made it and why and what was asked of them.
Who made the title sequence?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So Welcome to Derry just dropped this stunning opening credit sequence, A Descent into Dread. It actually has a title, A Descent into Dread. They debuted on the show's second episode, which was released on HBO Max a few days early for Halloween, as we just said. The phantasmagorical animated sequence peels apart the seemingly idyllic Maine town during the early 1960s to gradually reveal an increasingly horrifying succession of postcard-like tableaus from Pennywise causing death and destruction to the threat of nuclear war, which is so tight. The sequence is set to the aggressively sunny 1956. Again, this stuff I already wrote down, but then he comes in, hey, did you read this? Screw you, Matt. I wrote all this stuff down, man. To the aggressively sunny 1956 song, A Smile and a Ribbon by Patience and Prudence. It extends HBO's track record for creating groundbreaking titles for shows, with previous standouts including The Sopranos, Game of Thrones, and Westworld. These are pretty great title sequences, if you think about it. Good on them. The show's executive producer and director, Andy Muschietti, or is Muschietti or Muschietti? Do you happen to know?
I don't. Is it two C's?
Muschietti. Muschietti. I think it's Muschietti, right?
Probably a k sound.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. It could be a ch. Anyway.
It's like Lucchese.
Yeah.
Rob Lucchese. Lucchese.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. Probably. Never mind. Andy Muschietti, who made the series along with his creative partner, Barbara Muschietti, calls the concept A Descent into Dread, quote unquote. That was inspired by the film's postcard tourism Welcome to Derry title. The name Welcome to Derry felt touristic and brings you to the world, this is a quote from them, of postcards and facade, which has, this is what I was saying in the last episode, which has a lot to do with what Derry is, a place that's seemingly wholesome, but there's something dreadful under the surface, says Muschietti, who heavily praised the production studio Filmograph, which created the sequence. There was a lot of tweaking and calibration. How much is the next step? It reflects our desire to show the big catastrophic events that we talked about in the last episode, by the way. Thank you, Bridget. Described in Stephen King's book, It. All leading to the explosion at the ironworks, the Kitchener Ironworks. The ironworks factory explosion and other events shown in the credits, however, will not necessarily be depicted in the series, particularly during the first season. So you never know. Another key event in the sequence is a shootout in the street with the Bradley Gang, which took place in the 1930s. A crucial component is the song A Smile and a Ribbon, which was originally going to be used for a sequence where the character gets ready for school. Then they tried the song for the credits instead, and it fit perfectly. As the images get weirder and darker, the song offers up the unsettling key lyric, "The louder I say I'm happy, the more I believe it's so." The song is about faking a state of mind, faking a feeling, Muschietti says. The message of the song, wrapped in such a beautiful tune, is dreadful in itself. The team at Filmograph also gave some insight into the title's creation, including one element that went too far for even Muschietti. Our assignment was to take the literature from Stephen King's novel, It, and take vignettes that also exist in the world of the show and find a way to stitch them together, said Aaron Becker, a principal and director at Filmograph. Andy was dead set on the idea of taking us back in time through a specific type of medium, the tourist postcards that would normally find in a gift shop in a small town, which worked perfectly for Stephen King's lexicon and Derry in particular. The animation itself was done with CG, but then HBO let them take what they had created and put the final production on film, which added a bit of grainy realism to the end result. And the nice thing is that Andy kept saying, I want the dirtiest looking version. Great also meshed well with the song, which has record scratches and pops, a part of its original recording. We got the track and we dropped it in. It almost lined up perfectly, said Troy James Miller, Filmograph producer. We realized this is the perfect track for this. And now it's been in my head for the last year. I'm just like imagining like how much, like sitting on this title sequence for so long. You're like, oh, I finally get to debut this thing. And it's only probably for the one episode too.
I would think it would be for the season.
I don't know. I'd be surprised if it was from more than one episode, just considering the banger of an episode it was.
I could see them maybe adding things to it. But I don't think we'll see a completely different title sequence each episode.
You know what? I mean, the more you say it, the more I believe it. But it would be interesting, like kind of like the series, right? This whole series built up. Okay, the first episode built up all these characters we grew to love just to wipe them away.
And then we lose half of them.
Right? Wouldn't it be fitting if they just set up this beautiful title sequence? Okay, next one we're doing a completely different one that you'll fall in love with, and then we'll throw away, just like the people of this town, basically.
Right.
It just made what we did look so much better because the song itself is so jarring. Becker added, it mirrors the character's arc as children becoming of age, trying to convince themselves that the biggest fears aren't real. We imagine viewers really looking at this from an Easter egg perspective, just like the show Easter Egg. Noted Seth Kleinberg, a Filmograph principal and executive producer. There's so much opportunity not to skip the intro and really look into the finite details of what we've created. And I think that's really, really special. This is seriously one of our most favorite projects we've done. The sequence also has literal Easter eggs during its climactic postcard showing the explosion at Ironworks, which took place during an Easter egg hunt in 1908. A girl running from the flames originally was going to have eyeballs popping out, but that proved one step too far for Muschietti. That was too much, and we dialed that back, Kleinberg said. Meanwhile, it has children and adults on fire.
I know. I think one of the girls was missing an eye.
Yeah, or like it was dark enough and you really couldn't make it out. I think they just stayed on the line of touristy and something that you could pick up, but you're like, wait, hold on, why am I picking this up on a postcard rack? Which is like most of the postcards I get. Like, whoa, there's a penis in here. Why? Put it back.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know why. So the bottom line is it spoke about the things that we brought up in the last episode, lining up to what we may or may not see. Obviously, there are things that have definitely passed, like the Gary Land shootout, Garfield.
Bradley gang.
The Bradley gang. Gary gang. Gary Land?
Garyville? What did you say?
Where's all that? Gary Land? Anyway.
Stop it. The Bradley gang shootout and the Ironworks fire. Those things were
because the timeline in the books does not match up with the Derry that we know. That's why they said in the article that we may end up seeing this or maybe not. It could be the next season, could be this season, who knows. So anyway, and the funny thing is one detail that Bridget mentioned, or I don't know who mentioned it in the last episode, but it was that the explosion was so big they found a severed head in one of the trees. And one of the first things you see as it pans or switches over to that part of the sequence is like this big fireball that you don't really know what it is, but it could be the head. So
well, the first thing we see is the Easter bunny. Like the scene transitions out of his eyeball, and then the Easter bunny's just like
falling,
a ball of flame falling.
Yeah. But then like as the bunny zooms out, you do see like a fireball of some sort that you're not really sure what it is. Later on, you do see actual Easter eggs on fire, but the one fireball was nondescript.
Could be a body part.
Could be a flaming head is what I'm saying.
Well, listen, a couple of things I particularly wanted to point out from the title sequence. Yes, we did see a few little hints and nods to Pennywise, of course, which I thought were really cute. One particularly was the kids are like at the swimming hole and there's tentacles coming out, holding onto the lollipop.
Drain or sewer pipe.
The tentacles specifically were very interesting and maybe noteworthy, maybe not. Maybe it was just simply to illustrate something scary. Could it be a foreshadowing of some kind? I don't know.
Well, we saw a little bit of it in this episode, I think.
Yeah.
Sort of.
With Pickle Octodad.
Yes.
But it was like
you said that threw me off for a second. Pickle Octo. Wait, hold on. Pickle Octo. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have to write things down in my notes. Anyway,
it's a no-act device.
I don't know. We also saw a young boy getting a lobotomy.
Yeah.
At Juniper Hill Asylum.
And it's in your head.
I know. I hope that's not a foreshadowing of any kind.
When were lobotomies stopped? Okay, so lobotomies largely stopped.
Oh, yes, I looked all of that up.
In the 1950s. I should have asked. But it stopped in the 1950s, and we're talking about we're in 1960.
Well, they were starting to be less and less used in the 50s, but they were still being done in the 60s. They were not as common. And in the UK, they were being used through the 80s. But in the US, no, they were done by like mid to late 60s.
While some procedures continued, especially under the leadership of Walter Freeman, his final lobotomy was in 1967. That would actually be more tragic, I think, because knowing that the practice was already on the way to being stopped, being the last one is the worst. Side thought, I was trying to place everybody in the timeline, and we did mention Alvin Marsh in a heart for some reason.
Yeah.
And assuming Lily Bainbridge survives, could she be the one who ends up marrying Alvin Marsh to make Bevy Marsh? Because she does look like the Beverly. She has that affect to her, you know. Your hair is winter fire, Beverly. I don't. Why am I making the Alvin Marsh voice?
I don't know. He doesn't say her hair's amber fire.
No, I know. That's
Ben Hanscom.
Handsome because he's Ben Handsome.
I don't know, maybe.
Because like she has a single mother and Bevy Marsh has the single dad. So Lily Marsh goes off the train somewhere, basically. Lily Marsh.
I don't know.
Lily
I mean, she's definitely a character meant to remind us of Bevy.
And we didn't bring up in the last episode Phil's last name, but Phil's last name was revealed in this episode, at least to be Malkin. Yeah. And speaking of names, the kid that Will sort of befriends in the hallway and also Rich, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking this kid is such a Kasparak, no? In a sort of way. More on the dorky than funny side. My dad said the sky's blue because God's a boy. Otherwise it'd be pink. Like the more I dwell on that musing, the funnier it is. And the way he delivers it is just so like, oh yeah, my dad says the sky's blue. Like just matter of fact, like, yeah, I kind of totally believe him and it doesn't bother me one bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's life.
Of course.
Yeah, why would he lie to me? Well, I looked on IMDb. He does not have a last name at the very least.
Not credited?
No. So it just says Rich. And he does reveal it in the episode as well.
Oh, okay.
Well, then we do know that Eddie Kasparak, well, this would be his grandfather. So I don't know if he's a single mom also, because I know his mom's like a hypochondriac and therefore has like maybe like Munchausen's.
Right. Eddie's mom is like a hypochondriac.
He's the hypochondriac and she has the Munchausen's and she gives him that. I don't know how that works. Whatever. Munchausen syndrome by proxy or some other effect. It makes him anxious all the time, basically. And he is convinced he has like asthma and all these different maladies. Anyway, I don't know. Just he had that like affect about him.
I liked Rich, and he's got a crush on Marge.
Yeah, weird. Because they're both weird.
Why
too.
is that weird?
No, they're weird. They're like the weirdo kids that like each other.
I think that'd be cute. I think that's cute.
I think it's also weird that they're sort of pairing up other kids too. Like, okay, Will and Ronnie are kind of there's a little dancing around.
They're stuck in detention.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if they end up producing Mike down the line, their grandson, effectively, Mike Hanlon, because Will has like a Mike affect to him. He knows a lot about the town. He ends up staying in the town.
Will would be Mike's dad.
Right.
Leroy would be his grandfather.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. My bad. Yeah. Is it my bad? Yeah, probably my bad. Yeah, sure.
Yes, it is.
Sure. It gets so confusing. Okay.
Yeah.
Because then I looked up the Bowers, right? We meet Police Chief Bowers. He's Clint Bowers. His son is something Bowers. He produces Henry Bowers.
Henry's the bully from the miniseries.
What's funny about Henry Bowers is he, at least in the miniseries, is sprung out of, I think, Juniper Hill Asylum by Pennywise.
Yes.
I know it's not too dissimilar from the books.
In Juniper, yeah.
Which is kind of odd for an adaptation that's kind of accurate. The mind games he was playing with Lily.
Oh,
on
yeah,
the
that was
behest
just
of
rotten.
The town.
He's under the pressure, so he's putting pressure on her. None of it is okay, but it's a sign of the times, right?
It is, but you could tell that he was, because he says this is America. You need evidence to put somebody away.
This is what he's saying to Dan and the councilman.
Yeah. Well, but this is like his last gasp, is what I'm saying, is that he tried to stand up for himself, and then what ended up happening. And it's like anything in this town. You try to say something about something, and everybody looks at you as though you're the problem.
Small town. And then the rumors spread like wildfire. Yeah.
And then you're forever branded as that family or that kid, or you're on Pennywise's hit list, basically. I guess is what it is, because these kids it's like this repeating travesty that ends up going down the generations. This is why I said what I said in our Discord, which was the take I'm going to have about this episode at the very least, because my opinions might change episode to episode, is that I actually have a lot more sympathy for the town. I was very unapologetic about saying this town is evil. Everybody inside is evil. Pennywise made residents because everybody was evil and awful and disgusting. And Pennywise was like, this is great. There's no other town that's like this. They really, really want to bury their secrets. But then I saw the title sequence and I heard the song that's in the title sequence, which is about faking it till you make it. This is battery acid. You creep. Seth Green. Baby Seth Green. How do you overcome fear if not employing one of the tools, which is faking it till you make it? To overcome it, you got to push through it. You got to keep going. But then you see the rest of the town, the way it looks at it, the way it looks at Charlotte after she speaks up about the bullying. And then it just occurred to me that, oh, everybody knows. They pretend like they don't know, but they know that could be any one of them. They know about Pennywise. They just don't talk about it.
Okay, now you went too far.
It's a double-edged sword. I say this mostly because of two main things. One is the thing at the end, which is Leroy Hanlon. You are a man who cannot supposedly feel fear, right? You have a damaged amygdala. We need you to retrieve the thing that you won't be affected by Pennywise, basically, because he feeds off of fear. All these things that are running through your head as you hear this thing. Because what could it be? And then you have these Native American people who are looking on to it's like, what is happening here? I hope they don't find that thing because it could be catastrophic. If this town is captured by fear, it's being held hostage, let's say. All they can do is not stir the pot. Somebody actually said it in this episode. Oh yeah, the airmen at the bar, literally they said the following: don't see, don't say. Like, don't ask, don't tell. Go along to get on, you dig? And they go all the way to China, baby. And then I had to say that because that's, you know, it's a different time, everybody. But they say the thing out loud. They say, get along to get on. It's here. Other people more brave than you have stood up to it. They have failed. Pennywise is still here. So the best you can do is put on a ribbon, right? And a smiling face and hope that you faking it till you make it makes it so that Pennywise doesn't decide to have you for dinner. All of a sudden, I found myself sympathizing. What would I do in their place? Would I be just as bad? Maybe I would, because me speaking up means I'm in Pennywise's crosshairs.
Are you saying they literally know about Pennywise, or they just all feel this dread and something bad in the air? Because I don't think they literally know about Pennywise. I mean, everybody everywhere in small towns, they know about the dirt under the surface. Miss Cratchit spreading the rumors and the gossip, talking about everybody. Everybody's got these dark secrets that nobody wants to talk about. Yeah.
Miss Bridget? Sorry.
But that's the shtick, right? Of a small town, especially on TV. That's just how it is. But I don't think these people actually know about Pennywise.
Well, it makes me wonder because the way they're looking at Charlotte in the town is very unsettling. Unless it's just the way it's filmed.
There's a lot of layers on why they're looking at her like that.
Also true. What is this outspoken black woman?
Stan Kirsch.
The butcher, right?
The butcher. He's like, oh, boys will be boys.
Yeah.
I mean, that's that time, right?
Yeah,
so
true.
everyone outside those doors are like, oh, well, boys will be boys. They're not going to say anything. And then when she does, they're like, what are you doing? Just leave them alone.
Boys will be kind, said no one ever.
Boys will be tall.
Charlotte said it.
I love Charlotte so much.
I do have to say something that I am afraid to say out loud, but she is the most beautiful woman I have ever seen, I think. Probably Taylor Page. So I'm like, who is this woman and how do I not say what I'm about to say?
She is very, very, very beautiful.
This is the same thing as Margot Bingham on Walking Dead.
David's getting flustered over Charlotte.
I am so flustered.
And to top it all out, she is gorgeous. And I love her voice.
On top of everything.
On top of everything else, her voice and the way she speaks. I could listen to her read the dictionary.
Now, this is between you and me because nobody's watching right now. But this won't make the episode. I'm kidding. It will. It has to. Just like we met Margot Bingham and we took a selfie with Teo. Of course, we're going to probably end up meeting Taylor Page. You will know more than anybody else because our team's not going to watch the episode.
I love Margot. I love Teo. And meeting them was absolutely incredible. But meeting Taylor, I might actually be nervous meeting her.
I'm making a face to the podcast audience who cannot see it. We're just flustered. The fear in bringing up Taylor Page, by the way, is your brain just slowly grinds to a halt. You're like, what else is there to talk about? There's nothing. She is everything.
I know. She is very beautiful. I wanted to look up where she is from. Okay, she's from America. I thought I caught a little twinge of like an accent.
You did.
When she was talking.
It was intentional too. Oh, you're saying like a from abroad.
Yes.
Abroad from abroad.
Sometimes when people from other countries are trying to sound American, a little bit of it slips out and you can like hear it sometimes in certain words.
Yeah.
And I thought I heard a little bit of that.
It was overly intentional in some spots because they're from Louisiana, Shreveport specifically, which is interesting because Shreveport is where The Mist was filmed. Didn't take place in Shreveport, but it was filmed in Shreveport. These like little things that you find out where they're from. And because we had been talking about what the super secret project could have been, we don't know. I don't think it's what we talked about in the last episode. If you want to know what that is, you better look up the last. Well, I just said it now. It's The Mist. Is what they claim it. The Arrowhead Hotel, the Arrowhead Project, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I bring that up because of her accent. There is a bit of a Southern accent twang to her speech. She tries to bury it, just like they're probably trying to do that everywhere.
Sure.
Oh, and the car that she's driving, it's a 1958 Ford Country sedan. It is in the key art that we are using at the very least for our thumbnails, podcast and video thumbnail graphics, which tells you that, of course, the show is going to be revolving around the Hanlons, like you had said, I think it was. So there's that.
Yeah,
at the
I think
very
so.
least.
Was it the same kind of car that the family who took Maddie was driving?
Right. The family that already gotten taken by Pennywise. No, I think that was a pink Cadillac. Okay. At least that's what it looked like under the lights.
I didn't pay that close of attention to the kind of car, just what color it was.
Yeah, I think it was a Cadillac. It had the old Cadillac logo. I'm not sure, but it could be a Chevrolet. I'm not sure. It was like trying to be the wife beating dad.
We had to get here safe.
My porch for 2 hours. Can't believe you do that to me. She's like, well, we had to keep it well below the speed limit, obviously. All the way from Shreveport, Louisiana to Derry, Maine. That took a long time, that drive. But, racism everywhere. Everywhere you see racism. Pretty clever way to kind of say that without being overt about it, even though it's everywhere. I'm going to mention this on the side just because it's right here. There is a little bit of parallel, which you sort of, I think, point out somewhere. Yeah, grown folks talking, right, in your title. The parallel is between the Grogan family, how they talk to each other, and how the Hanlon family talk to each other. And they both say sort of the same thing, that it's just grown folks talking. Yep. Love that for us.
Yes,
so
I
much.
definitely did make note of that.
Another indicator to me that Ronnie and Will end up marrying and having their future kid. So that's just what I think.
Maybe. When Charlotte and Will show up, we see Leroy sitting on the porch. He's reading the paper.
Oh, yeah.
I did write down the headline. It's not anything.
I wrote it down too. And I think it's a bit, it goes to the theme of the show. We have the Cold War.
It does, but
communism.
We know it's just further moving along the storyline that we already know that is taking place in this timeline in real life. It's reminding us of the time we're in.
Well, how much of it do you have? Because there's a lot that is hard to make out if you don't hit the right frame.
I only wrote down the headline because nothing else matters.
Well, if you caught the rest of there's another article just under the Highline headline article. Well, you read the first one. I'll read the second one.
The big headline is Kennedy, more military advisors to South Vietnam.
New advisors to assist South Vietnamese troops combating communist insurgency is the sub headline of that.
Yep.
The other article underneath that is nuclear test ban support. Moms and babes say stop. There is opposition to the nuclear testing and all the fear mongering and whatnot, or not fear. It wasn't necessarily fear mongering. It really is like this show. Is the fear real or is it imagined? It's real. Pennywise is real.
So is the threat of nuclear war.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It is real. Pennywise is real. You have every right and reason to be afraid of Pennywise, just like nuclear war.
Yeah. Yes.
But what do you do in the face of it? Like Kennedy, do you send more military advisors to fight communism, or do you tell the nuclear testing to stop? Because somebody has to stop, maybe at some point, but I don't know if they're ready to at that point. The two approaches to the fear. The mothers and babes say to stop the testing, like, we're scared, stop. And then the others are like, no, we need to figure out how to stop them before they get us. Right, Rachel? You got to kill them before they kill you, right, Rachel? You should not have been in the military. I don't know. Maybe you should have. You're probably right. You're probably right. You're always right.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I'm always right sometimes.
Right.
It wasn't quite as obvious in the first episode, I don't think, Leroy's scars, his injuries. We know he was in an accident, but they're more noticeable in this episode. Maybe he spends more time in the sunlight. I don't know. Yeah. He also has like a t-shirt on instead of his uniform, but we see a lot more of his injuries reminding us that he was in this horrible accident.
Well, even General Shaw says, oh, because of your injury.
He mentions it, yeah, but now we're seeing it.
But I believe Hanlon, when he says we're too afraid to finish the job, is really the end of that statement that he says to Shaw.
He didn't say they were too afraid. He just said that they didn't finish the job.
That they didn't finish the job. But the assumption is, because we have to touch on the fact that when we were watching Dark Winds, one of the takeaways from the Korean War was that it was pretty brutal on the people who came back. And people who came back from it had trouble finding work or had trouble picking up the pieces of their lives, especially the native men who came back. Of the people that came back, and he was one of them, he was the exact opposite. Because even General Shaw was saying, oh, the thing that upset you was your injuries, right? Like everybody else who came home, right? Basically is what the implication was. He's like, no, because we didn't finish the job, man. Like, wait,
Right.
what? Because even us looking at his face, his injuries on his face, was like, I would have made the same assumption. And what we know about the Korean War, I would have made the same assumption. It's the same thing about the story about it. It's like, oh, you could walk in making certain assumptions about how people react to this town. And as soon as somebody says the thing that you don't expect is kind of interesting. So Hanlon saying we didn't finish the job kind of shook me a little, like, whoa, wait, who is this guy? What? What is this, the Iraq War? Most people. Anyway.
Well, all of this is proving why Shaw wanted him.
Yes, in retrospect.
I don't know what Shaw expected to hear, but that's definitely what he wanted to hear.
Absolutely. Is every joy and hope in bringing him to the Air Force Base.
Absolutely. And it took me until my third watch to figure out what part of this whole storyline we saw this episode was the test. Because he said, you were being tested, son, and you passed. The first time I watched it, I was
BS.
like, bullshit.
This is post-hoc stuff. What are you doing?
You got caught. He called you out. Now you're trying to backpedal. I was like, no way. Not happening. And then I watched it again and I was like, oh, okay. Because I was too busy being mad and I missed the part about the damaged amygdala.
I was there and I was like, okay, I'm listening. Your next words better be the right ones, like in my head.
Yeah.
And they were.
Yeah.
And you're like still mad even after those words.
I was still mad and I'm like, no way. But then the second time I watched it, I caught the part about the amygdala and I thought, okay.
No, so this is real.
What happened in the barracks, that was the test. Everything that happened after was just kind of a product of that. And also, I keep having to remind myself, this is just the next day.
Oh, no. It was a week.
Because when he goes to visit Masters in the cell, he said, this is the same model you had in my face last night.
I'll tell you why it may or may not be. Only because the vigil that Principal Dunleavy was talking about with regards to Phil, Susie, and actually what he says is Teddy and Susie. He does not mention Phil, which is interesting. Susie Malkin and Teddy Uris. Those were the only parts,
he
I
says
guess.
Like the Malkin kids.
Oh, does he say that?
Yeah, he lumps them together by their name.
Somebody doesn't mention Phil. Well, let's close this point, this loop at least. Was that the memorial was last week for their passing? Was it a week from the time that those events happened?
Why would he be making an announcement a week later? That doesn't make any sense.
It was, he'd mentioned that there was a memorial for the family.
I thought it was the night before.
Was it the night before? It couldn't have been the night before. That would have been the murder, which would not have taken place.
No, the memorial was the night before.
It's been a week. There was a candlelight vigil for only, I know he says, I write only Teddy and Susie, not Phil. A small reminder to the community that we can weather any storm. No sloppy joes in remembrance, because that's how gruesome the scene was. He mentions this in the morning announcements. I guess it's the way he worded it. That I'll rescind the whole Phil not mentioning Phil thing, because I thought maybe because they didn't find any parts of Phil is probably why he said that.
Well, I don't think they found any parts of anybody.
Anybody, you find out later.
Yeah, right, because they didn't find any bodies.
Right.
I mean, we find that out right away. The cops in the patrol car in the beginning talk about not finding any bodies.
But if you're not paying attention,
like, maybe they ate them.
Yeah, maybe he ate them. Maybe Grogan ate them. Is
I know,
what he's saying.
But really, Pennywise ate them, which is why it's funny.
But who's the evil? It can't be a magical dancing clown, Rachel.
No, it could not.
Although maybe they all know the truth, they just don't talk about it.
I would like to thank everyone who attended last week's candlelight vigil for Theodore Uris and Philip and Susie Malkin.
Masters, I don't know what you're doing here, but you sure as hell weren't in my room the other night.
Sorry, we got way
Sidetrack,
far off
true.
track again. I was talking about Leroy in the beginning. I could have swore he said, this is the model that you stuck in my face last night.
Or maybe he said that night.
that night. Oh, it could have.
Yeah.
It could have been that
'Cause
night.
it's that morning announcement. He definitely mentioned it was like a week ago, and it could,
The
which
murders
means,
were a week prior,
yeah, I mean,
but we don't know that he was beaten on the same night.
well, and then it's further accentuated by the fact that those officers that were standing around Hank Rogan's apartment or that complex, right, that whole building projects,
Mm-hmm.
they've been staying out there every night since the murders, basically,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure he doesn't slip up. The
Yeah.
projectionist in the theater with a candlestick, right? The Clue reference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez, what a cheesy guy. Hey, that's my kid, Phil Malkin's friend. Whatever. I don't know what he said.
His kid was friends with Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have some class.
We meet Will and Charlotte for the first time. Will goes up and sees the telescope that his dad got him because Charlotte knows her kid and told her husband what gift to buy because Leroy wants his son to be a boy's boy. And Will is very clearly into science and discovery and more educational things, which is awesome. But it's just not something that Leroy understands or can relate to. So we do see this awkwardness between them. But I think it's very endearing because Leroy's still trying to like find that connection,
I got it now.
you know?
I got it now. Because I knew I was
And
going to ask you about that joke, quote unquote, that he made.
Yeah, I know.
Do you want to explain
I know.
what dumb Dave didn't realize about the joke he was trying to make?
What?
My brain went into like conspiracy theory mode. Like, oh, is this a reference to a movie? What he's saying about peeping on other neighbors with a telescope? And then you just explaining this to me like, oh, he's trying to connect to his son because he doesn't know how to be. He's not like a typical boy. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, wait a minute. He's saying that to his kid because he doesn't know what his kid likes. And he's like, maybe this peeping Tom thing is something we can do together. Charlotte's like, and I'm like, and I'm like,
Well,
oh, I was just joking. Like,
I know. And okay,
boys will be boys.
listen.
Is that what you're trying to say?
boys will definitely be boys. And listen, they're new in a neighborhood,
I didn't get it.
not exactly getting the most warm welcome so
Sure.
far. So, I mean, if you ask my opinion, it's not a bad idea to just kind of keep a side eye on your neighbors anyway.
Oh my God, stop it. You know what he was
Listen,
trying to
I
say.
mean-
Let's bond about looking at nude women in the
Well, yeah, Mrs. Who was Phil?
Johnson was her name?
Mrs. Johnston.
With
Something
the
I can't remember. Yeah,
pointy
with the
bra
pointy, with the
boob
pointy
thing?
boobs.
Why are they pointy?
Yeah.
Anyway.
So okay, but
See,
what,
I didn't get
need
that
to-
though until you like started talking about, oh my God,
Yeah.
am I that dense? Rachel, I'm dumb.
Sometimes,
But
it's okay.
like, am
That's
I
why
a
we do
man
this.
now though? Am I masculine enough anymore? Do I need to take testosterone?
Maybe.
Or should I, is Muschietti, is it testosterone?
So, oh my gosh, stop it.
I will.
So just before this awkward encounter between
Right.
father and son,
And Charlotte.
and well, no, Charlotte's just like
Looking on
she
in horror.
sees it. Charlotte is watching this just like we are.
I know,
right?
it's like awkward.
Like,
Oof.
It is, but it's endearing
trying.
because he's trying.
Yes, thank you.
He's trying.
Good call.
But there is a little nod in there right before Will and Leroy have this awkward encounter. Leroy says, I got that telescope at a secondhand shop. The owner cut me a deal. Really? Needful Things. Needful Things was all about the devil running a secondhand store,
Oh my
cutting deals with
goodness.
people. Obviously, we find out that that's not the case.
And it's literally
But
what
when
the
I
store is
heard-
called. Rose Secondhand something.
Secondhand Rose. Yeah,
Secondhand
it's called
Rose, thank
Secondhand
you.
Rose, not Needful Things. But when he delivered that line, I was like, oh.
Good call. Good call.
I
It
see
wasn't in my
you.
head. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Needful Things it's one of my favorites.
How did you
One of my
know?
favorites. So,
She is the dude from Needful Things. Is the Rose is.
no, she's not.
But maybe this is one of those things.
Maybe
It's like-
she's the devil.
It's like when you
Maybe
talk
she's
about
the devil.
Pocahontas, she wasn't like in love with Captain Smith. This is not the story we were told. The Needful
that's
Things
not-
guy is this woman. They had to make it a man for the
Mm.
story because that's how we tell stories.
Oh,
The
okay.
evil is a man,
Okay.
not a
All
Native,
right.
Native American woman.
Also, I'm fairly certain that takes place in Castle Rock, not
But
Derry.
it's
Anyway.
the Bangor Chew is on the billboards. And
Mhm.
by the way, I just literally before we came on, I think it's called the Derry Standpipe is basically where they're doing the obs. It's not we said this in the Discord, I think it was, that the lighthouse, quote unquote, that they were viewing the town over is
Rob
not.
corrected us.
Yeah, Rob corrected us.
Yes.
But I found out more about the Derry sewer pipe or standpipe, it's called. It's basically a tower where the sewer system is, basically, in the books, essentially. But it's actually a real place. The one that's filmed on the show is a real place that was viewable from Stephen King's home. That's what where they filmed. So it's pretty accurate to Stephen King's vision of the book, basically. Yeah, Derry Standpipe is a fictional landmark in Stephen King's novel It, serving as a location where the main character Stan Uris first encounters the monster Pennywise. It is based on the real-life Thomas Hill Standpipe in Bangor, Maine, like I said last week, which Stephen King used as inspiration for the fictional town of Derry. In the story, the Standpipe is a water tower that holds a sinister secret and is ultimately destroyed after the second ritual of Chud. You know, when they tore apart the arachnid. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
In the miniseries.
Yep.
That's cool. Real life, what Stephen King saw when he was writing it. That's what we're seeing in the show. Pretty wild. Why did we go there? Because you went Needful Things, and that made me think of the Castle Rock Entertainment lighthouse. And so I went to the Standpipe. But Rose is pretty nice, actually. It's like,
she is, but it's clear to me that Rose is having an uneasy feeling. Just based on her body language, the looks that she's giving.
It was that weird thing where she says, you have a son, which is what the basis of the telescope was.
But she pauses and stares at her for a little too long. And then when Charlotte walks away to continue shopping, the camera holds on Rose for a few extra seconds too. I mean, these are deliberate choices, so it's got to mean something.
Well, especially when Charlotte says that her son is 12 going on 13.
12, going to be 13. Yep.
In August, I think she says, right?
Yeah.
Which means something. Like Pennywise needs to eat a certain age, I guess, or what, of children.
Not necessarily.
I know it had something to do with that or something to that effect. It had to be younger than a certain age. I'm vaguely remembering that was important. If the kids get too old, he just kills them, I think it was. But like if they're
Instead
young
of
enough,
eating them?
I forget what it is. Yeah, something like that.
Well, I don't know. I would assume it has something to do with the fear.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think that's what it is too. But I know the age had to do something with it, which is why he would want to do with the older versions of the kids from the town is destroy them.
Kill them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Rather than cocoon them up and eat them or whatever, feed on their fear, basically.
Yeah.
Forever. I think where this series excels, even over the movies and even over the miniseries, of course, obviously, awkwardly. I know, listen, I'm with you, is pitting Ronnie against Lily. Because you're like, who do I side with here? There's no easy answer.
There is no answer.
Yeah,
period.
It's a rock and a hard place.
Answer.
It's like, it's me who I've already been to this horrible place and I'm not eager to go back. Because again, that thing with the pick and doing the whole lobotomy thing, that is in your head now when they're fighting. That could happen to me.
Both terrible things that they were both afraid of have happened.
Yeah. Well, and there's a quality to that in that sometimes the things that we're most afraid of aren't as bad as we think that they are. But of course, we're watching this show.
Sometimes, but this is definitely not that case. These are both very awful things.
Well, I know we know that because of the book series, TV shows.
No, I'm just saying, like, going to jail and going to an asylum. Those are two very horrible things.
If something like that were to happen in real life, we overcome these things. We fear that these things are the worst things in the world. And then you find out the life does go on, that you try to make the most of things, make the most of a bad situation in normal circumstances.
If Lily gets lobotomized, that's not going to be a normal life.
I know what you're saying, but.
And if Hank gets killed in jail, that is not going to be a normal life.
I know. But what I'm saying in our normal life, it's like we fear that this will end the world. As a kid, you're like, this is the end of the world if this happens. And they're both kids.
Well, yeah, as a kid, everything is the end of the world.
Right. That's all I'm trying to say. Not like in the real world, they are terrible things.
Well, I mean, I would agree with you, except that what we're talking about are
the worst.
Two very serious, like, this isn't like, oh, I want to be popular with these girls and they don't like me.
To your point.
That is Margie's situation where, yes, it feels like the end of the world, but it is not. Now, your dad going to jail and you going to an asylum, yes, those are very life-altering things.
They are life-altering.
That is something you can definitely get upset about.
But I think, no, there's getting upset about something and being the actual end of the world, which it isn't. You feel like it's going to be the end of the world, but then you realize tomorrow comes and you have
I
to
mean-
pick up the pieces.
It's going to be the end of a world as you know it.
Yeah.
Your
Your
world is going to
changes.
change.
Sure.
Yeah.
But if not for the fact that we know more than they do, they know already a taste of what we know, but they don't know all the extent to which their lives are going to
They
get
don't
worse.
know we know that they know we know.
We know.
They don't know what we know
Exactly.
that they're going to know.
Unfortunately for them.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the sucky part, is that we
That's
do know
the
more.
that on that.
And it may as well be worse than the end of the world for them, basically.
We know that things are going to get worse.
It makes an already sad thing. Like, you feel for them. We all feel like the thing that we did or the thing that happened to us is the worst thing in the world, and it would end our world. And then you realize it moves on. But no, not here. It doesn't move on. It gets worse. So it's already bad. This thing makes it worse. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, that's just life in general, right? No matter how bad you think something is, it can get worse.
But I often find that when you're a kid, it's not as bad as you think it's going to be.
Everything's exaggerated as a kid.
And that's all I meant. But to your point about Marge, when Lily was like, I don't care about your stupid patty cakes, Phil and Teddy and Susie are dead. And you see like the lights start to go on a little bit. She's like, probably right. But I don't get what you're saying, sort of. But there's something in what you're saying that I'm supposed to get, I think. And then life moves on. Shut the hell up. I'm trying to teach a class. Well, what did you think in that moment? Do you think she was starting to get it and then lights went out?
Yeah, but
She
like
gave up?
any teenager, she's like, well, yeah, that's happening, but my problems
It's
are
worse.
bigger.
Yeah. Because to her, it's death if she can't get
Oh, yeah, it's the end of
attention.
her world if she can't be friends with the patty cakes.
Hmm.
We don't need to talk about Marge too much, but I do feel bad for her. I know she's
Oh, yeah,
kind of
that's
annoying.
right.
I know Bridget's not a
Bridget
big
was like,
Bridget's
oh, I
not a
hate
big-
this girl.
I know she's not a big fan of Margie, but I feel bad for her because she's just a normal kid trying to be popular. She's doing dumb stuff to try to fit in.
And really, what do the kids know? That's sort of what I was trying to say before, is that the adults know that there's something wrong in this town, that they end up pinning on something or somebody. The adults were once kids too. And so they remember these incidents. They learn to forget about it growing up, pinning it on something else that isn't Pennywise, basically, and moving on with their lives. But they know that something dark is in this town, and it rears its head every generation. And if you're lucky enough to live 2 generations to be a grandperson, whatever, then it's happening again. And you better not cause trouble or a ruckus or be like Charlotte from out of town, doesn't know any better. So what does Marge and all those kids know? And that's the saddest part of all. Most of the adults know what's happening now. Maddie Clements goes missing. Phil and Teddy Uris die. Principal Dunleavy's like, oh, it's a reminder that our town will weather any storm. Meanwhile, there's no sloppy joes in remembrance of their gruesome death that must have happened, even though there's no bodies, like all the other things, basically, that happened to this town. So they know, but the kids don't really know until they learn probably later on what has happened, or at least not these kids. We're talking about the kids from the future. They figure out, because they actually look at the history of the goddamn town to figure out what keeps happening to it. I'm saying all this to say that's why I sympathize with Marge a little bit.
Okay.
Because I not only sympathize with Marge, I sympathize with the town a little bit too, because I called it evil. I called the people evil. And to a degree, evil persists when good men do nothing. But what happens to the good men that do something in this town at the very least?
They die.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So even Marge trying to make the best out of a bad situation, she does not know
Or they get pinned
about.
for all the bad things.
Yeah, Hank, right. Lily, even to a degree, right? Not even to a degree. She has guilt, but it's not her fault. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I've been saying throughout, is that the only person that may or may not be affected, unless Pennywise decides to kill him anyway, is Leroy Hanlon. Just because he can't be affected by the fear doesn't mean Pennywise can't kill him. Just like Hank Bowers ends up trying to kill the adult versions of Richie and all the gang as they grow up in the It story, basically.
Henry?
Yeah, Henry Bowers tries to kill all the adults.
You called him Hank.
I did, but Henry is Hank. But he was called Hank a couple times, yeah. If he can't do it himself, he'll get a human to do it for him because the human will be afraid. So same goes for Leroy is what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
He's a threat to Pennywise.
Well, yeah.
Will he gets a load of him.
Will's going to be a threat too. Will likes science and chemicals, and I think he's going to whip up something that Pennywise doesn't expect.
Sounds right. Battery acid, perhaps?
Yeah, maybe some battery acid. Why not?
Oh, man. You know, when you're a kid watching the miniseries, you gravitate towards certain characters. I never realized how much I actually liked Mike Hanlon And then until I realized, oh, he's like been there the whole time documenting all this, making sure it never happens again, never forgetting like everybody else forgets.
He never left Derry.
Yeah. And that's the one thing that, oh, and think about his story, right? They moved from Shreveport, Louisiana and stay there ever since. He never moves. One thing that I forgot about the books is that it's not that people forget or want to, they do want to forget. But one of the things that Mike mentions in at least a miniseries, I don't remember if this was said in the books, is that whereas everybody else did forget, like it's almost like a fog or a mist enveloped the town to make them forget. He made sure he never forgot something that would remind him to never forget. And that it wasn't always their fault that they forgot, like everybody else forgot. I have to have a little bit more grace. Pennywise farts for passes gas for 27 years to make people forget. See, and then Will basically has the formula for his farts, so he doesn't forget. He's a kid that never forgets. We just solved it. Why Mike never forgets, basically. It's because of his dad studied chemicals.
Yep.
The farts. Pennywise farts.
We solved it.
Yep.
Got it.
Pennywise flatulence.
All right.
I want to mention one thing, and it's something that I did mention on Discord to nobody's response, which isn't unusual sometimes. Sometimes I'll say something. In our ICYMI channel, I posted a theory about Leroy Hanlon. Did we see Phil Russo anytime during this episode?
Paul Russo?
Paul
No, we
Russo.
did not.
Yeah. What did I say? Phil Russo?
Phil.
Is it Pauly Russo? Right.
No, we didn't see Polly at all.
Okay. One thing that occurred to me, this is like the classic Ashley Weidman thing when she was talking about RJ Grimes on The Walking Dead. Is RJ real? I started thinking, looking at all the different scenes that happened with Pauly Russo and Leroy Hanlon, and I realized, is Pauly Russo real? He doesn't have too many interactions with anybody else in these scenes.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch again,
I'd
see
watch
if
it
anyone
again.
talks to him directly.
I keep looking at Dick Halloran thinking Dick probably sees Pauly Russo because Dick is very special.
Because Dick is Dick, yeah.
Yeah, he's got some insight into the
He's got the
spiritual.
shine.
Right. So maybe he sees Pauly Russo as Leroy Hanlon sees Pauly Russo,
Maybe.
but nobody else
Possible.
can see him.
I don't know. I'll have to go back and rewatch it. I know the few lines that I remember Polly delivering are directed towards Leroy.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. It was the way the end of that violence scene happens with the gas mask fellas.
What? Wait a minute.
He comes
Right
in-
when they get off the plane and they walk up to somebody, I feel like he addresses the both of them.
It was Colonel Fuller. Yeah. I don't know if he addresses both of them, but he definitely announces himself.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch that.
I had made this observation before I watched this episode, but when I watched this episode, another observation occurred to me. I wonder if Rich is real either. Because if Daddy Leroy is seeing Pauly
yes,
Russo.
Rich is real. Margie made some major eyes at Rich.
But maybe Margie is touched too. That's what I'm saying.
No, that's too far. You went too far.
Oh, I don't know.
The line is a dot. No, that's too far.
I wonder, because even Rich being where Will is in the band outfit and everything about just Rich looks out of place also, like Pauly Russo. It's like everybody else is bullying Will. Basically, they're all looking at him weird and funny, and he's like, "Oh, Cedar Point, it's a pencil." Huh. Like, I'm not going to be like everybody else. Why? Because nobody can see him.
Rich has figured out how to fly under the radar. He's been around long enough.
That nobody
He knows
picks
how to
on him
not get-
anymore.
Then yeah, he
I don't
just
know.
stays quiet.
It's a feeling, the feeling that you got about Rose, like something about they just lingered on him a
Yeah.
little too long.
Yeah.
The Pauly Russo thing, I think you could see, but the Rich thing might take a little bit more time. I don't know.
Nah, I think that's too much because we got to start building our.
A
Losers
roster
Club.
of children that are still alive.
Well, yeah, we need our losers club.
Yeah.
The group of kids that are going to make up our heroes, and I think Rich is going to be one of them.
I feel like I have to say this much, and I feel bad mentioning this. It does feel like Marge ends up becoming one of them, only because if you've watched any of the teasers, there's an allusion to that, and you see
I
certain
don't
things.
watch the teasers.
But I think that's why I like the connective tissue of Marge going down a certain path that might end up in tragedy that makes her want to change her ways, which you could see. It's like there's a brick wall right ahead of her. This is not going to end well for her. Especially
No, not at all.
Patty's going to make it so too, by the way, which is again more sympathy
yeah.
her way.
Absolutely. Patty's going to do something devastating to Marge.
I'll admit one thing is that when Marge started making fun of Scott the Snot,
Yeah.
and whatever, anything else she did, she was genuinely funny. Oh, did somebody see my pencil? Right?
Yeah. She is funny.
I don't know if like you felt like that might have been you at one point. Oh, they're laughing at this? Like, okay, I'll keep going with this.
Probably.
Yeah. Which is that little bit of part of you that like, okay, maybe you shouldn't be laughing at this, but like, maybe what else does a kid have to do to get the attention, you know?
I don't know. I don't know. It's not even worth talking about.
Right. You're like,
Yeah.
do I want to open this can of worms about
I do
my
not,
former
no.
self?
No, I do not. So before we get too far away from Will and his love of science, I just want to say how adorable he was in detention.
Mhm.
When he's talking about the chemicals that go into the stink bomb, and he's like, it's the same stuff that's on Jupiter and Venus, so maybe I stink or maybe I'm covered in stardust.
That goofy smile.
He's so adorable.
It's got the moves.
It was so cute. And then he's got his head down, but he's like looking up at Ronnie with his eyes like, is she laughing?
I want to see if that actually worked, but it doesn't really matter because
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Because he does believe
Yes.
it. It's like one thing if he's
Yes.
trying to put the moves. It's another thing if you actually believe it.
He said that with his whole chest and like.
Well, he said that with his half chest.
I loved it. I loved
In his
it.
own
No,
will way.
I loved it. Just for funsies, I wrote down everything that was on the chalkboard.
Of course we did. We both did.
None of it means anything, but it is cute.
Well, Betty is a slut. We know that now.
I wish.
Whoever Betty is.
Yes. Betty is a slut. Susan was here.
Mike loves Christine.
I so badly wanted that to say Arnie loves Christine,
Right.
but it didn't.
Did you notice the
It said
loose
Mike.
connection that Google AI tried to give you for Mike in reference to Christine?
No, I didn't look it up because I read Christine, so I knew Arnie was in love with Christine.
Right. Mike was a janitor in another school who happens to disappear because some other entity went after him in a short story within the story, basically.
Oh, okay.
Something about
Okay.
Fluffy. Fluffy got him, quote unquote, Fluffy. I don't know what
This was in one of King's short stories.
Either the short story was like, or it was like a small side story within Christine.
Okay. And of course, on every detention chalkboard are a pair of boobs.
Oh, wait. Michael Cunningham is the father of the main character, Arnie Cunningham, which actually sort of makes sense. No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
It
Not at all.
would if we're using the push forward version of the timeline, because then Christine would happen way later. Think about it.
What? Arnie's parents hated that car.
But, you know,
So-
Arnie had a father. I don't know.
He did.
It's a way of putting two words together, though.
Oh,
Or maybe
okay.
maybe he hated the car because there was a deeper connection to it than Arnie realized.
What? Yeah. Okay. Well, there's that.
If you have headphones on, you can actually hear the conversation the master sergeant's having at the gate with regards to Dick Halloran.
Oh, yeah.
When the guys are coming back.
Yeah, you can hear the voice on the other end.
He says, "Do you like your job, Master Sergeant?" Like, and even I was kind of like, "This is not going to work." And I'm like, "Do you like your job, Master Sergeant?" And he's like, "Yes, sir, right away, sir."
Hold on, we gotta go back a little bit farther
Sure.
though. There's a whole scene at the bar.
Sure.
Before they get to the gates.
I just wanted to include that there because that was a little funny.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but that comes later. The guys at the bar, the two of them got grilled, but Dick didn't.
Oh, that's right. Well, because special project, super secret spy
I know.
project, which you find out later what it
I know.
is, sort of, I guess. Well, what are they being grilled for?
For the attack on Leroy.
Why is that ridiculous? Considering.
Because they're black?
And so because they're black, why does that not make sense that they were working with Masters?
Well, because Masters is a huge racist.
So why would they be a part of this scandal?
They absolutely wouldn't.
But okay, if we're going to be logically consistent, then the army itself is trying to get rid of its own undesirables. Doesn't matter if it's a racist or two black people.
Well, okay,
Basically.
listen. You're
I'm going
jumping
ahead.
way ahead
Yeah,
here.
sure.
You're jumping way ahead. Everyone may have been questioned. We
True.
only hear from
But
these
look at
two
you.
guys because they're in the scene.
Okay. And they do mention that everybody was being grilled, basically.
Absolutely. And we know Masters was because we saw him in the office. Everyone was grilled, even though Shaw already knows who was under those masks. And
Right.
I'm starting to think maybe Dick was one of them.
Oh, yeah, sure.
One, that's why he wasn't questioned. And two, that's why he winks at him later.
So that would, wait, winks at who?
Dick winks at Leroy.
Yes, he does. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, right. And which kind of implies that he was the ringleader, essentially.
Well, he wasn't the one talking
it feels like, how do you know?
because it wasn't his voice.
I mean, it was kind of muffly and weird. Well, I guess that means one down and two to go, but even if it matters anymore, who was underneath those masks?
Well, and that's what Shaw says. He's like, does it matter? And honestly,
It's like a
in
nod
that
to the
moment-
audience. It doesn't matter,
Yeah.
guys.
in that moment, I'm like, yeah, I guess it doesn't.
Because it works either way for Shaw. If he doesn't find out, he gets to wash out somebody he didn't want on the team anyway.
Right.
Right.
I want to know what they were offering Masters for the confession.
I'll say this. I feel like it wouldn't have mattered. They have him dead to rights for.
He has a very dirty record.
So
So it might have just been something as easy as, hey, we'll erase all of this from your file.
Well, it wouldn't even matter. When you have something on somebody, you don't make a deal. Do you know what I mean? They were fully expecting him to wash out because of this incident, fully prepared to pin it on him. No, actually, that's not true. You're right. He was ready to take the fall.
He confessed.
Well, then what else? What bigger thing did they have on him?
I didn't think they were threatening him. I thought they were making him an offer. Somebody said, hey,
Well, like to flush
confess
up?
to this and we'll, like I said, remove these citations from your file or whatever. I don't know the verbiage, but I'm not a military person. They had to offer him something to make the confession.
Maybe not being dishonorably discharged.
Maybe.
It could be as
or maybe
simple
just
as that.
reassignment.
Yeah, exactly. Either flush laterally or flush up.
I don't see him flushing up, but maybe a lateral move at
Worse
least.
things have happened though. Like people flush up all the time.
No, I know, but this guy's in a special,
Right, an abysmal
especially
record.
large dick.
Which is why I don't think they'll wipe it
Yeah.
out. But I think it's very likely that they would make him confess so that he wouldn't be further dishonorably discharged, which is like the worst thing you can get. You can't get
Sure.
work anywhere and all that stuff. In any case, I say that only because of the way he tries to load that pistol. What Hanlon tries to do to test him also. Like they're trying to test Hanlon.
I loved it too.
I knew
know,
it the
was
second he
so
asked,
good.
when he asked Colonel Fuller about the gun. Oh yeah, that was, yeah, I found it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, of course they didn't find it.
No.
Kidding.
No,
Which-
they didn't find
I just
anything.
want, I want to tell my
nothing to
kids when
find.
I stare death in the face. Sure, Hanlon. Okay. Yeah, have no fear, Hanlon. Okay.
He's a quick thinker
Yeah,
too.
sure.
Yeah. So we started at the Falcon and we ended up here
The
in
bar, right?
Masters
Is the
Cell.
Falcon?
But yeah.
Okay.
Yes. But I wanted to go back to the Falcon.
No, I'm glad.
I found some things out about this bar that I did not know initially. And then I read some things that were a little bit conflicting. So I'm going to share what I found. And then I hope that maybe someone listening can
Clean you
fill
up.
in some gaps, or maybe you can help me clean it up a little bit. So in the book, which to be fair, I haven't read the book yet. I have it in my library here, but I have not gotten around to reading it yet. So I don't know all the details of the novel. I've seen the miniseries many, many times, and I watched the movies once. I don't even know if I watched the second one. So I don't remember every little detail. So the Falcon Tavern is where O'Halloran, Reggie, and our third unnamed friend, did we get? I don't know if we
No.
heard the other guy's name. They're there having drinks. Chief Bowers walks in. He's going to have a drink. And he refers to the bartender.
As Elmer.
Elmer Curdy is the owner of the Falcon Bar in the It universe. Starting in the 70s and through the 80s, the Falcon actually becomes a very popular and thriving gay bar
Oh.
under the ownership of Curdy still. In 85, I believe, characters Adrian Mellon and Don Haggerty, they're a couple. They meet at this bar. And shortly after that, Adrian is the victim of a hate crime. He gets beat up really bad by a group of just awful, terrible, homophobic teenagers, and they throw him off a bridge. This event is what sort of spurs Pennywise's return.
Ushers in.
Yeah, Adrian becomes Pennywise's first victim. It might be in both the novel and the movies.
But in the 80s, you mentioned
don't-
is the movie timeline because that's when they're kids in the movies.
Yes, they would have been kids.
And then in the 2000s, they're adults.
Correct.
Okay.
So in the 80s, yes.
Yeah,
So
I'm
in
just
the
checking.
80s,
I'm just making sure we're in the right time. Because
And I'm
again,
just-
push
and
back
I'm gonna-
timeline, whatever it is.
right. And
push forward.
I'm gonna say it very loosely because I don't know what, like 1980 something. These might be characters from the novel and the movies.
I think I saw that in the movies,
but I'm
if I'm not
not
mistaken.
super okay. I'm not super like I only watched the movies once because I was like protesting it, but Silas really wanted to watch it, and of course we do anything for kids. So
you were protesting it because you love the miniseries so much?
yes.
Okay, just checking.
Yes.
You don't have to go further than that.
So we see the Falcon Tavern in Welcome to Derry.
In its heyday.
Yes. So, and this is in the 60s. So before, and apparently it's not doing very well right now. It doesn't start to thrive and become a successful business until the 70s when it welcomes a different demographic.
A different caliber of, I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait, demographics is
But
probably
I just
better
thought it
word.
was a nice little nod. I love all these little nuggets
Welcome to
of
Derry.
Stephen King's universe.
Did the bagpipe player, whose name's Bernie, by the way, was that a reference to anything?
Not
Well,
that I know of.
It's funny. I look at your face and I think to myself, oh, wait, maybe there's something bigger here because I'm specifically your phrase because I'm sort of Irish and bagpipes and we play bagpipes when we're very, very happy or very, very sad. Right. And so
Yes.
maybe Bernie's he falls over. He has an
Yeah.
incident. He's probably very sad, if I'm being honest, about these kids dying and he knows something like the
Maybe.
parents do.
Maybe I just thought maybe he was drunk.
Yeah.
Actually, what I really thought, I wanted to watch it a couple of times and pay close attention
To the
to
words?
Dick's face when Bernie falls. I thought maybe Dick made him fall, but I don't think that's the case.
That's right. I forget that that's what that is too.
Dick's got the shine.
The Shining, right? Yeah. I forgot what that is. I thought it was just seeing dead people, but apparently it's more than just that.
No.
I know.
Oh, no. No, not at all.
I just said something you forget because.
But I don't think that is the case.
But it would make sense because everybody hates bagpipes. I mean, no offense, present. You
No,
know,
not everybody hates
but
bagpipes.
really everybody does.
Everybody hates bagpipes in a tiny bar.
Okay, fair enough. And
Yeah.
So
Take them outside
Yeah,
where they belong.
exactly, and then they don't. So a quiet town, loud bagpipes, not
Yeah,
not
no
a good
kidding.
recipe.
I'm going to drop another little universe nugget in your lap right now. So before they leave the bar, as they're leaving the bar, Curdy comes over and kind of gives them the look.
Yep.
And
It's our
Dick's
time
like,
to
all right,
go."
boys. All right, boys, we gotta get out of here now. Dick makes a reference, something about, I know a place we can go to hang out if you like moonshine.
All right. Yes.
Billy Freeman makes moonshine in The Shining.
Okay. That's a good reference. It's in my lap now. I'm cradling it like Liddy Maddie Clements.
Yep.
the mutant baby, basically.
Yeah, mutant baby, which has a doll face, right? It looks like a baby doll.
Yeah. Well, and then the conjoined twin that's living in it on its side
Uh-huh.
part and face. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's terrifying. It has bat
Yeah.
wings. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Let's touch on this. Suck it, Paul Bunyan. Like the guys throwing the eggs at the Paul Bunyan statue, or the billboard saying
That he's coming.
announcing the statue of Paul Bunyan.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then the protests. Okay, it makes more sense now when you have the episode in the rear view because I didn't understand it at all. Like, what? Why is
I
it's an
still don't understand
eyesore.
why are they so against it?
As this episode is in the rear view, it's really all about the town. There's no sense in having any pride in this town. This town should not be the pride of anything. And that hopefully nobody will come here so that they'll get killed too. Because bad things happen in Derry. Bad gas gets passed in Derry, in that Derry air. I think that's the heart of what it is. And the look of disdain also matches what the way people look at Charlotte too, is that don't make a ruckus, get along to get on so that Pennywise doesn't get you too. It's going to happen to one of us. Doesn't have to happen to me. And you know what? If I look at you really funny and weirdly, Charlotte, maybe it won't get you too.
That doesn't make any sense though. If people are so concerned about Pennywise getting them, wouldn't they want someone else to make a ruckus so that they're the target and not them?
This is why I'm a little bit more sympathetic, because I feel like my faith in humanity is a little bit more alive in the fact that they don't want more people to be attracted to this town to be killed. It's one thing if it's just us, but involving other people in this, it's a weird emotional logic, because it's one thing if it's us and it's this little pool of people who are just trying to get by. It's another thing if you're involving other people into this mess. It's like, okay, it's one thing if it's us and I hate all of us and I hate that we have to do this to each other. It's me saying I don't believe it. People are inherently evil again.
Yeah, I don't know,
I'm
man.
not buying that. I
don't
think
know.
everybody's evil in Derry.
Not even that. First of all, I don't think people care enough to sweat it over other people. And
Could be.
if people knew that where they were living was evil and that a clown comes out of the sewers and kidnaps your children, wouldn't you move away?
That is the most interesting part about all of this, is the forgetting. They know at the time it's too late to do anything about it. And by the time you figure it out, you're either already dead because his feeding cycles is over. And then you forget, and then it happens all over again to the next generation because it's not you anymore.
Yeah, but do you really think 27 years goes by and nothing terrible happens? People are still going to die over the next 27 years. Bad things are still going to happen within those 27 years that are not attributed to Pennywise. Bad things happen that is not Pennywise's fault. And that's not going to stop.
I often wonder if Pennywise just never does really stop.
He does. He goes away for 27 years. That's his cycle.
And so you're saying everything else is everybody else. Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I said in the last episode,
Or,
basically.
I mean, I'm not even blaming people, but just tragedy happens.
And trauma
Accidents
changes
happen.
people.
People have heart attacks. People get into car accidents. Bad things happen, and no one's always to blame for it.
So there's a difference between bad things happening and suspect circumstances happening, or people being awful to people happening, like violence and racism and homophobia, like you said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, it's very nebulous whether it is Pennywise or not, and whether the people who just passed this ordeal are recognizing that this was Pennywise all along too. Because whether they know it or not, they know something bad happened, like something Cold War-esque level, nuclear fallout level. Okay, that happened to our town. And then we just forget for some reason. Why do we forget? It's not for me to say. I'm trying not to judge. I don't know.
People do forget their trauma and tragedy. I mean, that's just human nature. As years go by, it lessens and lessens. And the farther away you get from that time or that event, you remember it differently. Sometimes you rewrite the memory in your head, and depending on what it is, maybe you downplay it.
You're doing the normal circumstances thing that I was doing earlier. In normal circumstances, yeah, you rewrite the memory, life moves on.
That's us smelling Pennywise's fart.
But with Pennywise's fart, maybe you can. If he won't let you forget, he makes you forget. No.
It's the exact opposite of what you just said.
He makes you forget until 27 years later, and then you remember, and then you're like, okay, what do I do now? I know I can't beat this evil, right? Get along to get on.
What?
You have a faint recollection of what happened 27 years ago.
Are you saying that the adults are like, oh, the clown's back? What are we going to do about it?
Not necessarily the clown, but it's happened. The Troubles, right? What the Irish used to call the Troubles. It's happening again.
Okay.
And what did the Irish do when the Troubles came? They just weathered the storm.
That's what we do.
Right. So you more than anybody else. I know.
What are you going to do about it?
Half you more than anyone else should know what I'm talking about.
Shit storms are coming. What are you going to do about it?
And so if you treat Pennywise like a storm, like these people are, you would have the same attitude. You don't want to attract the storm. You don't want to leave a metal rod hanging out at your hand in the middle of this, right? Like Charlotte.
No. I'm boarding up my windows.
But you still give her the stink eye.
My neighbor's like, you going to do something?
Yeah, but you still give her the stink eye. You're like, Charlotte, go back. No, don't do it. Also, you're racist, so there's that too.
Yeah, I was going to say the town, it's not an issue, but the bigger issue that the town folk are having,
it's all an issue,
is that she's an African-American woman in this predominantly white neighborhood. And she even says like, oh, I stick out here. And she knows it too. And now not only do you stick out, one, you're a brand new face. Two, you're an African-American woman.
Who are you?
Gorgeous.
Okay, stop. Yes.
Woman.
Okay. First of all, how does anybody not see this?
I know. And three, now you're causing a ruckus in the middle of the street.
Who are you?
I mean, nobody's going to be screaming and hollering at these kids.
Right. Oh, and then, the boys will be boys thing of the time. Don't you know any better? What are you doing? That's what they do. The boys beat on each other. I appreciated that at the beginning of this episode, we got Lily's POV.
Oh, yeah.
From that scene in the beginning. Because it was like, wait, we just got the portcullis view from Ronnie's point of view from the projector booth. And we see Teddy Uris's face
up on the,
like a cartoon. Oh, it upset me so much. But then you saw it from the other side and it wasn't that much better.
Yeah, it was very interesting seeing that whole scene from what Lily was seeing.
Now, I'll say this. Is there any hope for Phil? I don't know if it's him that we got. We saw him get torn apart or whatnot.
I don't know. Listen,
so
I feel like without any bodies, there's hope for all of them, right?
So you're saying hope floats
with no bodies
down there?
Yeah, maybe. Nah,
I know.
No,
not really.
No.
And we know how this film ends too, as if they're telling us you know how this film ends. We're showing you a bloody film strip here. There's no hope.
Yeah.
But it's nice of you to think that there is.
So Ronnie's terror and Lily's terror, I think we can talk about these at the same time because there are a lot of similarities.
Her dad and her dad, right?
Mm-hmm. Parent trauma. Yeah. They both feel responsible for their parents' deaths.
Right. But Ronnie is putting that on Lily. which is what was like edging.
No. I'm talking about Ronnie's mom.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes. But I was even thinking that she may feel like she was responsible for her dad being taken.
Oh, absolutely. There is no question that she blames Lily for that. When I said Ronnie and Lily's terror, I meant what Pennywise is making them see.
Right.
I have it written in my notes
You're
and
right.
I just read it that way and I realized it didn't. Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right.
The terror that they see.
Let's start with that. Then we'll move on to Hank.
Those are what I wanted to talk about at the same time because there are so many similarities and very much parallels to each other with the parental trauma. And they both blame themselves for that parent's death. One, Ronnie's mom died during childbirth.
Right.
All the things that this mother thing, I love captions so much. Mother thing.
Oh, is what they say about, okay. Oh, you have the CC, English CC, the descriptions. I didn't have the descriptions.
You didn't put the captions on?
I did, but like there's English and English CC, which is like the descriptive captioning.
When it was speaking, it would say mother thing, moaning and groaning and like making noises.
I don't have the description captioning. No, there's two types of captioning. The ones with the worded descriptions and the ones with just the dialogue. You have the ones.
Okay.
Well, that's nice. That's cool.
Yeah. They could call it mother thing. The things that mother thing was saying were awful.
Yeah.
Awful. That scene was.
Do you know what went through my mind when I watched it the second time around was that when you're a kid, if that were to happen to you, you're not meant to feel responsible for your mom's death.
No,
but
absolutely not.
It made me think that somebody said that she was. And my mind immediately went to the grandma because she did not care about Ronnie's sleep schedule, whatnot, when grandma and dad were fighting. She just wanted to keep arguing with Hank about stuff.
Yeah.
And it made me wonder, like, if somebody somewhere, maybe even somebody from Derry, entirely possible, right? You killed your mom. Did you hear what happened? What you did to your mom or whatnot? Like, and they make a story about it. And then that's the story that she sees visualized.
I suppose it's possible. Not something that went through my head. I think just knowing that my mom died during childbirth while having me would be enough for me to be like, oh gosh, I killed my mom. Like I would feel that way without anyone having to say it.
And I don't disagree with that, but there's the degree to which she feels the guilt of that. That's the thing that somebody had to say that.
Here's the reality of it. She might not have a tremendous amount of guilt. It might just be something that's lingering in her head, but because it's there, Pennywise is feeding off of it and he's exaggerating it.
Well, and what does the mother thing say? You're seeing this basically because you're getting your dad. You're going to kill your mom and you're going to ruin
you're going to kill your dad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to end
even though
when he's
it's
in jail.
not. No, even though it's not Ronnie's fault at all.
Because like what happens to men who kill kids in jail?
Oh, yeah.
To start.
They're not surviving.
Right.
Not surviving.
Right. It just gets you thinking though. Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Lily also feels responsible for her dad's death because he went into the plant.
The jarring
factory. Okay. He went back into the factory because she forgot something, which ultimately
led to him
death.
Seeing a staff member who was having trouble. And then he went in after that staff member. And the thing happened and then he got jarred. I don't think he really got jarred. It's what they said.
No,
the kids said about it.
But they said there were like pieces of him all over.
I don't know that was even true, but just the fact that
yes, I do.
It's what people said.
This just popped into my head. There was one of King's short stories about a man-eating machine. It was not a pickling machine. It was a laundry pressing machine.
This sounds very familiar.
So like maybe another tiny little half a nugget.
Right, maybe.
Little bit. The tiniest little string. I don't know which was worse in terms of disgustingness. I think I was more grossed out by Pickle Octodad than I was the mother thing.
Oh, you would.
The mother thing really only creeped me out when it like stood up and then like very quickly like came running at her.
Yeah.
It like stood up and I was like, oh.
And then it shouted at her. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it screamed in her face. But the Octodad was just disgusting from beginning to end. When he's in the jar and he like sticks his tongue out.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, it's so gross.
Well, it has that like Alvin Marsh-esque thing to it too. Like, Maverick, give your daddy a kiss.
Give
Maverick.
daddy a kiss. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, it was really gross. And then the intestines when all the pickle
Oh. Well, it just connects you
So-
to the lollipop thing in the title sequence too. Yeah,
Yes.
a little bit.
Also, when Bevy is wow. Lily is surrounded
What can I
by
say?
the shelving units and all the pickles come in towards her. It reminded me of the scene in the miniseries where Eddie's in the showers and all the shower heads
Oh, yeah.
start coming in and enclose him.
Nicely
Just
done.
a little similar
The
feel
walls
there.
are closing in. Well, and even like leading up to that scene, all the little shelves lining up behind the aisles,
Yep.
and then
Oh, the creepy guy like doing the little dance up the aisle behind her. Ooh, that was so gross.
and the creepy guys like sticking their head out and come back in. You know, like
A few people
mostly guys.
had
though.
like the weird smile.
I think it was all guys, maybe.
There was a few women.
Even, by the way, I may be barking up the wrong tree, but like you could tell something was already wrong by how narrow the aisles were. When she was going down with the cart, the first aisle that she was going down, it was so narrow already. So that just every subsequent scene, even though the aisles they probably had to be widened a little bit to kind of make it feel like, okay, everything seemed very big all of a sudden. And then all of a sudden things started getting smaller until you got to that scene. It's the town, man. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is
Maybe.
about the town. On the one hand, I'm not convinced. I do feel a little bit more sympathetic about the town. But on the other hand, I feel like, is the town just Pennywise? Is a deal made with the devil made way in advance and they're
I don't
all
know.
subject to his whims too, save for a handful that are his playthings effectively. A handful, I mean, like, but our protagonists who end up falling every single time, like the ones he really wants to play with and extract the fear from. Because everybody else seems to get along with it, get on with Pennywise, quote unquote, because they don't know it's Pennywise, probably.
Or they're just the lucky ones. It might not have anything to do with a deal. It might just be,
And even lucky is in quotes.
oh, whew,
Right.
he didn't get me this time.
Right. Because even though they didn't get him.
Sure. I had a question I wanted to run by you. So Lily turns the corner and she sees the boxes of frosted farts or whatever, and it's got the kids on. I had to.
Right.
I had
At that
to.
final aisle, right.
And I had the kids on it, right?
Yeah.
So Maddie and Susie, and then Phil and Teddy on the bottom one. Susie and Teddy are the only ones that we see rotting away.
Uh-huh.
Maddie and Phil are not.
I didn't see Phil rot away.
He didn't.
He didn't. Right.
No, Teddy and Susie rotted away on their box. So, okay, so the
Yeah.
top shelf is a box
You
of
said
Maddie.
Maddie, though.
The next,
Because I think Maddie I saw rot. I'm not mistaken.
no, he didn't.
He didn't? Okay, fine.
Nope.
Again, I didn't take notes when it came to this, so.
Yep. So
Sorry.
Maddie's on the top shelf, and then the next row is Susie on her own box, and then the third row is a box of Phil and Teddy
So
together.
Frosted Phils.
Phil and Teddy,
Gotcha.
Frosted Phil, yeah. Teddy and Phil are on the same box together. It starts at the top. We see Maddie, comes down to Susie. Susie's starting to rot away.
Right.
Then it pans down to
Teddy.
Phil and Teddy.
Right.
Teddy rots away, but Phil doesn't. So Maddie and Phil don't rot.
Which is the basis of our thought that, oh, did it get Phil? You're thinking in your
Well,
head.
that's what, like, why? Is there a reason that those two weren't rotted away?
I'm more interested in the Phil part, but Maddie is also interesting considering he has the pacifier, quote unquote. I mean, if you could pacify yourself and then re-terrify this kid all over again.
Self-soothes. Yeah.
Susie, she bit it. She got her arm taken off. She's done. It's over. She bled out. Whatever. We know that.
Yeah.
But Phil is interesting because Phil was the one who was most resistant to all the crazy talk until he cried too, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's on the line. Pennywise is like,
Yeah,
oh, this guy's
I know.
delicious. I can keep scaring him until he like actually believes. I can make him forget and then scare him all over again in my little
I don't
deadlights.
know. Maybe. I don't know. Something I noticed. I wanted to know your take on
There
it.
was another blog on the Pyre about, is Phil still alive? Is he the Nacho of this story that we wish was Nacho in that story?
Put a Band-Aid on it.
Right. Nacho in
He'll be
Better Call
fine.
Saul. Last final season. Right from the first
Poor
episode, was
Nacho.
it? Or the second one? I think it was the second.
What?
Was it the first one of that last season? First episode?
Oh, I couldn't tell you what episode it was. Sharon could.
One of the two.
I don't remember what episode it was. It was the worst one. The worst episode.
Oh, no, it was probably the second one. But anyway,
Yeah.
or I don't know. It was a very long episode. Let me put it that way. So, no, good question. And I'm with you 100%, unfortunately. Wish we could fight about it more, but we're both on the same page. We're not usually completely on the same page, but this episode, except for like maybe the town and people's intentions.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not
but
on
that's
that
murky.
train.
I'm surprised at myself is what I'm trying to tell you. I'm super
Okay.
surprised that I'm more forgiving.
I like that you're opening your mind and you're willing to at least explore other options.
Well, I was very
You know?
judgmental and I felt bad. Like I kept thinking, what would I have done in this situation? It's that age-old question. Would you have gone along with the Nazis? Would you have?
Mm.
And like, yeah, you would have. Probably. You would have been Derry.
If it came down to saving your life
And your family.
I think
and
most
your
of
mom
us,
and your dad.
and your
Come
family, and well, okay, yes, that's a better point.
Right.
My life, I'd probably be like, no. But if it came to my family, Silas, my loved ones, then yes, now we're talking. I would do almost anything.
And let's say you did say something, right? You're the Charlotte and everybody's looking at you. And what
Yeah.
good did you do?
I don't know. It's
tough.
Yeah.
Because you're not ending
I-
racism or Nazism. You know, it's like
No,
not without
no.
help. Not without the Losers Club, going back to that. True. I felt like that was part of the reason why he wrote this story and lore and whatnot. Why it was so long. It's the answer to why people didn't say anything or felt like they couldn't say anything. Even people of good conscience in Derry, but also in Nazi Germany. It's the mixture of that whole small town attitude. Crazy stuff happens in a small town.
Yeah, everybody's just turning the other way. They're like, it's not my kid.
But then there's
They
like
look
the
the other
bigger
way.
microcosm of, okay, well, what would it take for somebody of good conscience to actually say something? And if you do, what happens? Derry, Pennywise.
If you do say something,
Yeah, bad things happen to good people who speak up, who don't get along to get on, generally speaking. You think it turns out to be the hero's journey, but it ends up being the hero's end.
okay,
You know what I mean?
no.
it doesn't always happen the way it does in the books. And that's Derry in a nutshell. People have spoken up and then they get killed.
Do they?
Up until like how many years is
Where is that evident in Derry?
how many generations has Pennywise been able to persist? At least 100 years, if not more. 125?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Something
I
like
don't
that.
know.
That's many generations of a town that's been conditioned to fear something or forget and fear something over the course of a century plus.
See, again, though, I think Pennywise comes back every 27 years, but people aren't like, oh gosh, here comes that wave of stuff again, because bad things are always happening.
I see what you're saying.
Do you think children only go missing every 27 years in Derry? Because I don't.
No, but I think the frequency under which it occurs, and maybe you're right. Maybe it happens like in little bits here and there so that when it happens in bigger bits later on, people are like, oh yeah, well, we'll weather that storm of the kids going missing for some reason that we'll never find out, except when we pin it on somebody who's black or gay, basically. See, I've been thinking about this lately in life too. I recently, last night, saw this band called Lawrence, which you may have heard of, you may not have. They're getting a lot bigger and their music is super cool, which I don't really care about music much these days anyway, but their music is super cool. They're super young too, and they have such a diverse crowd, but their music is very uplifting, even though they say things like, this ish ain't ever going to change.
Okay.
But like, I'll keep doing what I do, you know? Like, okay, it may never change, but I'll still try. When I listen to their music, I keep thinking this phrase, you know, instead of pointing to what ails you, be the antidote. You can spend all day pointing out what's wrong with everything and everybody, why this is a problem, why that's a problem. Instead of doing that, maybe just what's the solution? What's the antidote? What can we take from this? Where can we go knowing that? What can we do about it? So that phrase keeps popping up in my head. What would it take to be the antidote to this town? What's the solution? Instead of pointing out the problems.
Okay, but that is the time frame that these people live in. You don't shine a light on what's wrong.
Correct.
You ignore it, you
Correct.
bury it, and you move on. And this has nothing to do with Pennywise. This is the era in which these people live.
The boys will be boys.
It's all about what things look like, not how they are.
Right. Well, who said that in the last episode? A lot. This
Well,
idiot.
yeah. I made a note here, and I wish I would have written down some examples to bring up, but I think you're going to agree with me anyway. The scene transitions
Yeah.
have
Right.
been phenomenal.
The throwing up and then
Oh my god.
Dick Halloran throwing up and then it goes to the squirting of
To the mashed
squirting of the
potatoes.
mashed potatoes into Lily Bainbridge's lunch tray.
When Dick and his buddies are walking back onto the airbase and the camera pans over the cracks in the concrete, which then transition into the rivers at the dig site.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
Oh my gosh.
Very well
just
done.
some tremendous transitions.
And it doesn't hurt that even them doing that, they get to the base because of his secret project. And then we see the secret project in the rivulet
Yep.
streams. Oh yeah. Okay. So everyone in the streets is looking at Charlotte for intervening with the bully fight. Even Stan Kirsch, Stanley Cleaver Hirsch, which transitions to Charlotte with Leroy and Little Will in the next scene talking about her incident, et cetera, et cetera. It's smart. It's kind of extemporaneous. It's like a dream. That one thought leads to the other thought immediately afterwards. Like on the base, it leads to the actual site for the secret project, et cetera. And even, so here's another one. Leroy can't talk about his day with Charlotte either, which makes matters worse. What's eating at you? What's the thing that's bothering you? Can't talk about it. Yep, like usual. Transitions into the Grogan family where grandma's complaining about the police. Can't talk about it. Can't do anything about it. Same old S.
Mm-hmm.
Great transitions. Themes that were like tie together very closely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and of course, the reason why Ronnie is seeing Pennywise is because of this fighting too. Her grandma, and right?
Yeah.
And it's causing her distress. It's like,
Well,
I'm already going through this thing.
I mean, it started with the kids being torn up at the theater. Now grandma and dad are fighting. She hears dad say, they're going to pin this on me. Now she feels responsible because she took the kids to the theater.
And nobody has time to actually think about what Ronnie went through too. I don't blame the family, but like you said, it's a product of the time too.
Hank is thinking about Ronnie.
Sure.
You know, he pulled her out of school. He's making sure she's safe.
And the grandma's not about that too. I mean, you find yourself agreeing with her, but a
Grandma's
little bit.
old school. Grandma's like, she's going back to school and she's going to hold her head high. She's got nothing to be ashamed of, which you can see her point of view. But at the same time, it's like,
And again, it's different antidotes to the same problem, right? Hank has his one way, his nouveau way. Let's give her some time to process. That's, ew, gross. And grandma's like, ugh.
Grandma's like, rub some dirt on it.
Yeah, exactly. Rub some dirt. Exactly.
Yeah.
In the last episode, we had similar things going, but like it was way more prominent in this one, especially with the themes.
Yeah.
There was a thing that sort of bugged me. It's really dumb. When Will asked to excuse himself.
This is exciting because you and I have not complained about one thing in this episode yet.
I already explained it away, but okay. Will asks to excuse himself from the table. Will Hanlon, because they're fighting.
Yep.
Obviously, the parents are fighting, and he's like, "Oh, not again."
We're not fighting.
Well, and also he was bullied today, and I don't think
We're talking.
He doesn't want to be caught talking about his bullying or what, too.
Correct.
You know, because it's Charlotte. You could see, first of all, she's a beautiful woman, and I would tell her the truth always. I could not hide the truth from Charlotte. I'm sorry.
No.
Taylor Page. I'd be like, yeah, I do like you. We're all just made of stardust, Charlotte.
Yeah. We're all covered in stardust.
Yeah, especially you. But anyway, I'm blushing right now, I think. Maybe.
So am I.
You never know. It's that he walked away from the table, he clanked his fork, and he walked away. And I remember when I was a kid in the 80s, you would clean up your plate. And the only reason why I know this is because I'm looking at my niece and nephew, and they were just here today. We celebrated my mother-in-law's birthday in our place, which is why, it was tough for me to come here.
Yeah.
They finish eating food and then they just walk away. It's like, I'm going to do this intentionally. They're like, I don't want this and all that stuff. But who cares about that?
And then they get up and leave.
When I was a kid, and I'm the oldest too, so it goes without saying I was strict with this. But I was told to clear my plate. Okay, you finish, you scrape it, put it in the sink. That's the least you need to do. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we in the 80s still had chores to do, like cleaning dishes and whatnot, making.
We had to wash our dish.
Cleaning, yeah,
after
exactly.
Dinner.
But this kid in the 60s, in a small family, you best believe you're scraping that plate. You ain't going straight up to your room. It bothered me. But then I did the math a little bit about this family and like what they might be going through. And they talked about Shreveport, what happened in Shreveport. She obviously protested. She obviously sat on the white side of the whites versus colored drinking fountains, buses, whatnot, the segregation that was going on in the South and in the 60s, right around the civil rights era too. We're 62, 3 years away. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or from civil rights legislation. And again, it's like the lobotomy thing too, is you're 3 years away from possible change in cultural attitude over time. Mm-hmm. And you're going to get the butt of the racist end of the stick in Derry of all places instead of Louisiana. I mean, the birthplace of civil rights, but still. But it was where it was the worst of it was happening, especially with the segregation in schools.
Yeah.
I say all this only because, okay, they're going through a lot. The kid had a rough day at school. Leroy Hanlon had a tough day at the base. And even Charlotte with the bullying boys. She obviously felt she had to say something about it. So, that's the least thing on their mind right now. So I explained it away with that. But it was like, even if that stuff was happening, you'd still clear your plate, buddy. That's all. See, and look at Silas right now. He's busting in here like, I don't want your dinner. And That was right on cue, wasn't
Putting
I?
his dish away.
Wasn't I? No, that's staying in now. Oh, he's putting his dish away. Okay. Because his mama raised him right. Now she's looking at him lovingly. It's like, yeah, I taught him well.
Well, not that well. He didn't wash it.
But you didn't really emphasize it, did you?
He did at least get it in the sink. He'll wash it before he goes to sleep tonight, though.
For real? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
And if he doesn't, he knows I'm waking him up at 4 a.m.
Get
to
out.
wash it then.
Get out. That's
Mhm.
amazing. I don't love that for him, but I love it from a distance. It's fine.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have figured Bowers to be such a tool for Pennywise, though. I'm just saying, like, more of like an intelligent tool, right? The way he was playing mind games with Lily. But I'm remembering this offhand. Like, I didn't take notes on this because I didn't have a chance to, but he says something to the effect of, all I got to get you to say is, can you be 100% sure he wasn't there?
Yeah. That's pretty much what he says. He said, I'm going to ask you
Diabolical.
again, but I'm going to rephrase it. I'm not going to ask you if he was there, but can you tell me for sure that he wasn't?
Which it goes to show, this is what gets me about why I'm convinced that when good people try to stand up to the things that are obviously staring at the face, I don't think he obviously likes the racism, but he also doesn't like it that the town would be against him. The whole town. Forget about a monster called Pennywise, let's say. Forget about that possibility. But when you have the whole town against you, you know what a mob is capable of.
Well, not even that. He's not scared for his life. He's scared that he's not going to get reelected.
Maybe, but I think there's...
No, the councilman threatened him.
Sure. But I think there's also something that we talk about when it came to Game of Thrones is that you could be called the king. You could be called the chief police, but you're not if you can't get the town to rally behind you. The seat of your power lies behind the town.
And he makes a very good point. The town is going to start doing funny things and start thinking things, and they're going to take action into their own hands if the
Right.
chief can't point the finger at somebody.
Right. They're encouraged to, instead of pointing out the problem, like I said, be the antidote. But like he is choosing to point a finger at the problem, like making it go away. Because that's
Yeah.
what the people want. They want to put an excuse for all the bad things that happen periodically and then make it go away. Because it ends up going away anyway.
Right. Nobody's standing up and going, oh, it's the clown again.
Right.
It has to be one of us doing this.
Right.
We could talk about the song choices this episode, but I don't really want to because it's already 8:45 and I'm tired and I want to go to bed.
Yeah.
But I did write down all the songs.
Why do fools fall in love? Essentially boils down to like, why do anything? Why love if it ends?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sam Cooke, You Send Me.
Yep. You excite me.
A Summer Place.
Taylor Page.
Charlotte's Theme.
When she's in town, right? Yeah.
Yeah, when she's Mosey in downtown. Of course, Mashed Potatoes are playing while Dunleavy's making his announcement about the mashed potatoes.
Right. And something green.
And Something Green. I love that. I love that
Perfect.
little tidbit.
Perfect.
Gave us an amazing cliffhanger. Oh, maybe we should touch on that super quick.
There's like, you're the only one that can handle the weapon cliffhanger.
Yes, but then he goes out to the site and they
That's
see what they
right.
found.
That's right. The
Yeah.
Model T.
It was a car.
Yeah, it was like a Model T with a bunch of bodies.
It was covered in mud and filth. There were several dead bodies in that car.
Could it be the Gary gang? What was
The
it called?
Bradley gang. The Bradley gang. The Bradley gang.
The Gary.
Maybe.
Garyland, where Rob is right now?
Maybe. So Shaw talks about the thing, and then it's surrounded by these beacons.
Right. The
To
thing in
me,
the dark.
This car is one of the beacons, right? It's not the thing, obviously.
Yeah. Well, they made it seem as though the car indicates that they're close.
Absolutely, because
To
it could
whatever.
be one of these beacons.
Right. Well, I felt like the 4 beacons were I don't know. This is impressions,
I
right?
don't-
Like the corners
yeah.
of the town, maybe. And then if you cross-reference all the beacons, that's the center of it, is where the thing is.
I don't think so, because I think Halloran's taking them to a specific place.
Right.
I assume the place would be where these beacons are coming from.
Probably. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not sure, but we saw
That was just kind of
some
my,
crazy.
But obviously they're getting close. I mean,
It's
are
the
we
Bradley
gonna...
gang, not the Gary Land gang.
right, the
Right.
Bradley gang.
Maybe.
Shaw also mentions that this thing, this weapon, could scare a man to death in his tracks.
Right.
And then we see this car full of dead bodies. So it leads me to believe these guys died from fear.
Hmm? Right.
I don't really
right.
know.
Right. Whatever it was, it looked horrific. It was underground. Why is it underground
Yeah.
too? Why
Yeah.
was it
Why is
thrown
it
in a
buried?
swamp? I guess. Does somebody have to cover it up?
I don't know. Did there used to be a lake there and it got muddied over and I don't know, filled in?
Yeah, I can't
don't
really
know.
say. Which is great. That's fine.
I know these are the questions we should be asking at the end of an episode, and I love it. Great job.
Does it concern you that maybe they're writing checks that they can't possibly cash each episode? Because it seems like each episode gets more and more fraught. Even the first episode, it made you care about something, it ripped it away from you, fine, at the end. But then this episode is like, okay, a bunch of scary things are happening. Like we got 2 big scares in this one. And then like the third, like what's happening here? You know, Bridget had asked a question in the episode. I feel like the whole thing is going to revolve around the kids, but what are the adults doing? And it was like mutant baby. And like maybe General Shaw, his whole thing is about the Cold War, but wouldn't it be interesting to have that be the front, the facade that I was talking about in the last episode, that maybe he's trying to find what's causing the problems in Derry? That to me seems exciting.
Okay, I like where you're going with that. I'm going to dogpile for a second. What if Shaw knows about Pennywise?
That's sort of what I'm saying. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Even if he doesn't know Pennywise, he knows that whatever it is operates on fear. The thing in the dark.
Well, and one thing we know about Pennywise is that he's a shapeshifter. Perhaps Pennywise has presented himself to Shaw as something else. So Shaw knows that this evil, that this thing, he's not going to call it a machine, but he does call it a weapon. Perhaps he's trying to
weaponize
capture,
Pennywise.
Contain, and weaponize Pennywise.
Weaponize Pennywise.
That's Shaw.
You
That's
put, like,
the slogan.
Spray paint on my episode art. Right. Yeah, that's sort of where I was going. And you know, you're saying weaponize. That's not where I was going initially.
But what if he could?
What if Leroy could handle the evil?
What if there was a way to weaponize Pennywise against our enemies? We're at the beginning of this Cold War. If he could somehow make our enemies attack and kill each other through these visions and this terror that Pennywise can cause, then yeah, the Cold War would be over before it started.
What is the expression? Something, all the things that mice and men often go awry.
Oh yeah.
And again, right? You forget the first episode. We know how this story goes.
Well, obviously, I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm not saying that it's going to work.
Right.
Maybe that's what Shaw's whole secret
Exactly.
mission is all about.
One way or the other. Either it's him trying to handle or contain the evil, or it's him weaponizing it, right? Weaponize Pennywise.
Mm-hmm.
But then I thought another thing, and it was while thinking of this exciting thing that, like, I know should know better, that I shouldn't feel this way. Maybe Leroy can't feel fear, or another word for what Leroy's condition could be is psychopathy, right? When you don't know how to be in a situation, but you know how to imitate. Maybe is that sociopathy or psychopathy? When you don't know how to feel empathy and you don't know.
Well, there's a difference between not being able to feel it and like ignoring it. You know, but you just don't.
Yeah, sociopathy is knowing but not feeling it.
Yeah.
But psychopathy is like really not having the wherewithal.
Correct.
Of like morality and whatnot.
Being a psycho, you do not feel.
You don't want to feel that way about Leroy because he seems like a good enough guy, you know, but on the surface of things.
Well, that's why they mentioned the damaged amygdala. He has suffered damage to the part of your brain that controls your emotions and your fear response.
Yeah, at least your fear response. But I was thinking worse. Like, what if you really were psychopathic?
You're saying like even before his injury,
no,
because of the injury?
Because of the injury,
he's now a psycho. Okay.
Because like, what if it's not just that? Is what I'm saying. Because it's 64, man. They don't know everything about the brain.
Sure, I see where you're going with that, but here's why I don't like it.
I don't like it at all. I hate myself.
Leroy is very clearly one of our heroes.
Yeah, obviously.
He's written that way, so he can't be a psychopath.
Dave, obviously, I want my good guy to be good, my bad guy to be bad.
Exactly.
I don't want my expectations to be subverted.
We can have some gray characters in there, but
Sure.
Leroy's not one of them. He's
No.
our good guy.
Well, and I wonder who they're
I
going
think
to
Shaw
be.
could be a gray character. He could be in the gray.
Yeah, I never really truly know what this is about, what he's trying to do.
But no, Leroy's a good guy. And our kids are good guys. Even the bad kids are still good kids because they're kids.
And they don't
Talk
know
about
any better.
psychopaths.
Yeah. And they don't know any better.
No, they don't.
They don't know how worse it can get. How about that?
Teenagers are psychopaths.
And they're
all
very
of them.
close to being teenagers. They're in junior high school. So
Yes. Oh, like
The
demons
worst.
on earth. The worst. Junior high. Oh, kids in junior high. The worst demons to walk this earth.
take your word for it because I know it does get worse. It can get worse before it gets better.
They are all legitimately psychopaths. They think about nothing but themselves.
Yeah, it starts that way.
We grow out of it. Some of us, most of us grow out of it.
I think there should be
Some
an
of us.
acronym for teen, right? Terrible, egotistical,
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Exuberant Nazis. And with that, everybody, don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after these messages. We just thought we'd remind you to show this episode some love by tapping that like button, if there's one to be tapped, subscribing to our podcast or channel, and if available, enabling all notifications, and sharing the show, or clips of it, with everyone you know. And don't be afraid to reach out. Leave your questions, feedback, ideas, or even concerns in the comments section. There isn't one? Head on over to ratethispodcast.com/squawkingdead and leave your thoughts there. Rating our podcast is the best way to get our attention because it also boosts our visibility. And we'll probably address it in the next episode too. And if you think there's something to what we're doing here at Squawking Dead, tip us over on Ko-fi. As a token of our appreciation, you'll receive forever access to our Discord, along with 30 days access to our uncut episode and interview recordings, plus our pre-squawk insights. Take your support further. Join a membership tier on either ko-fi.com/squawkingdead or patreon.com/squawkingdead, and you'll unlock access to more channels on our Discord server, receive shoutouts at the end of every episode, and depending on what tier you join, the ability to join us on camera and mic to break down future episodes alongside us. Thank you for hearing us out and making it this far into the episode. We now return you to our regularly scheduled podcast.
If we forgot something, tell us in the comments.
Yeah, the Native Americans in the distance was pretty interesting too. Rose is Native American too, clearly. So,
Yep. There's not enough to talk about yet, but we'll see.
I thought it was interesting
that
it was there though. So makes me think of Dreamcatcher a little bit and see what's going on there. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see. Well, first of all, you won't be seeing us for a little while, only because the episode won't be coming out until next Sunday.
So 1 week.
So yeah, 1 week from now, right? Well, they're not even going to get this for a couple days, right?
Exactly.
So you won't be skipping
1 week
a beat.
from then. Yeah. You won't even notice.
Yeah, probably. No.
We'll be right back.
And hey, we're also going to be looking at Pluribus right now on Apple TV Plus to see if that's something that we want to cover. We're going to see how we feel about it. It comes out on the 7th of November, which is Friday. So check it out. Let us know what you think in the various spaces. Exactly. And hey, if you feel really good about it, again, it stars Ray Seahorn. It's a Vince Gilligan production. She was in Better Call Saul. All the previews look very interesting to me. It does have a hint of a lick of that post-apocalyptic vibe to it. I don't know if you saw teasers for it, Ray. Oh my gosh. Look at our Discord. Check out the logistics channel that has the thread that has Pluribus in it, our What to Watch Now channel in logistics.
Oh, like what we're covering?
Yeah. She put the latest. I put the latest one in the Pluribus. There's like a 2-minute trailer on YouTube. So check that out. And that applies to all of you too, folks. Hop onto our Discord, check it out. And you can only check it out if you become a member, which you heard the thing before, and you should probably do it so that you can communicate with us and
do the thing.
Help us become a better show, folks. And with that, I say thank you for watching. I've been your host, David Cameo, and I was joined by
me, Cosmomom09.
See you later next time. I hope you enjoyed this. The Ray and Dave show. Next time. It's been a while. It's been a long time.
It has.
I'm gonna have a tea now.
Look at us. Almost going 3 hours.
Hope you enjoyed this, folks.
Bye.
Thank you so very much for making it to the end of yet another episode of Squawking Dead. This one covering it. Welcome to Derry's second episode of its inaugural season, titled The Thing in the Dark. I sincerely hope you're enjoying our coverage, and I apologize for the lateness in the hour of it arriving to your ears. But I'm glad it's here, and it's chock full of a lot of visuals. If you are listening or watching this on YouTube or Spotify video, I know I didn't mention this, I think, at the beginning of this episode, but you can always head over to our merch store on squawkingdead.com and choose either the new merch, which has been revamped and has a lot of embroidered designs, or, as always, you can head to our TeePublic, also via squawkingdead.com in the main menu. You can choose either the new shop or the old shop and take your pick. Anything you get will support us, and of course you're getting something in return for it, just like when you tip us the 30 days of access to our unedited episode recordings and my pre-squawk insights. And when you join a membership, you get that and so much more. Forever access to our Discord, all the stuff. And speaking of, we like to shout out our Whispers and Survivors members in reverse order at the end of every episode, starting with the Survivors tier. Oh wait, we don't have any Survivors members. These are our junior producer members. Gives you access to our core channel where we have a lot of private discussions regarding development, any moves you want to make that we can't share with the public, which are many. Moving on to the Whisperers members, we've got, and he was missed this episode, Rob Lucchese, at Rob's stuff _N as in Nancy _thangs on TikTok. And of course, Kim.Rowley at Kim.Rowley, the number 1 on Facebook. Cannot wait to check out the next episode of It Welcome to Derry. But we have a lot of work to do when it comes to Pluribus, which we just mentioned. And it turns out that the first 2 episodes should be releasing today as I am recording this and probably publishing this on November 7th, Friday at 6:05 p.m. In case you wanted to know where in time I am recording this. Let us know in the comment section if there is one, or in a review. First of all, whether you like this episode, but also whether you enjoyed the first 2 episodes of Pluribus, as we will probably be, if we do enjoy it, talking about it, both episodes, in a future recording. In the meantime, just remember that we are Squawking Dead.